his feet, ready to learn. All right, guys, so here's what's going to happen right now for math. We're going to do math, but we also have a character lesson from Miss Watson today. So we're going to do both of them right now because math is kind of just continuing what we did yesterday with equivalent fractions, and you guys like nailed that. So I know math today is going to go really quick. We're going to go through a couple problems and review them because not everybody was here yesterday, so I want to make sure that everybody is on the same page. But your math today is for a grade. Yesterday's was just practice, but today's is for a grade in the grade book. You're getting graded on equivalent fractions, okay? So we're going to review that first, but you guys stay on the call because then there's a character lesson from Miss Watson, and I will have to upload the worksheet that goes with it because I don't have that ready for you guys yet. So I will get that for you guys, but we're going to actually do the lesson as soon as we finish math, okay? So all in the same phone call. Do what?
Is it just the exact same as we did yesterday? Like,
It's not the exact same problems, but yeah, it's exactly what we did yesterday. So, all right, here we go with equivalent fractions. Hang on. Let me make sure real quick. 2 seconds. I need to make sure I have the right thing.
can I move the whiteboard?
I'll move it. Yeah. Okay, guys, here we go. Equivalent fractions today. Let me clear this off. All right. Yesterday, we talked about equivalent fractions, and what does equivalent mean?
Equal.
It means equal. So if I had a fraction, and I said I have 2/3 of something, and then I also said, okay, and I also have 8 of something else. Well, obviously the pieces are going to be cut in a different size for 2 to equal 8. How do I turn a 2 into an 8? Sophie, how do I turn a 2? What? Times 4. So,
That means you times
if I times the numerator times 4, what do I have to do to the denominator?
Times 4.
Times 4. So then my denominator would be 12.
Easy
Okay? So whatever I do to the numerator, I do to the denominator. Whatever I do to the denominator, I do to the numerator. Does that make sense? Fiona, how are you feeling about that? You good? Okay? You kind of get it? All right, let's do a couple more just because Fiona wasn't here yesterday. All right, here we go. You guys can do this one on your own if you've got your boards. All right, what did I do to the bottom? And what do I need to do to the top? Okay. So, yeah.
Times 4.
12, 16. Okay, so hey, give me your answer to the math problem. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, does that make sense? Like you just have to look at the numbers and you figure out how did you get there and you do something ahead of time. Okay. Yes?
What do you say?
Yes. All right, so I multiplied the bottom times 4. I'm going to multiply the top, the numerator times 4. 3 times 4 is
12.
12. All right. Another one. Let's see. 4/5 turning into something with a 15. I don't know. I didn't mean for it to keep turning into like the exact same math back over and over and over again. I just really want you guys to know what 4 times 3 is.
Why?
Apparently.
I get that.
You get that? I mean, it's a good number. It's a good stack. No, yeah. Okay. Yep, Joe, you got it.
Can we do one that doesn't have a 12 in it?
Can we do one that's not a 12? 5 times what equals 15? 3. Do that at top.
12.
I don't know why they keep being 12s. All right. I was just trying to do them in my head. Okay, I got one that's not a 12. But it's also crazy. It's also crazy easy.
Oh, that's easy. Oh.
Yep. Oh, no. Yes.
Oh, wait, I know it. I was real quick.
Yes.
I know it. Where's that?
Yes, Josie.
Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Is it
Or not fun. Haynes said, hey, it's me, Jordan.
Yeah, he needs to, hey, give me his answer and quit being a funny guy. Hey. Hey's for horses, dude. Okay, yes. All right, so 8 times what equals 16? Gives me a 2 at top. Okay, so is everybody still feeling super great about this? Okay, you are going to have a worksheet to do with this in a moment. But first, we're going to watch a video from Miss Watson.
I think I know what it is.
And then then we'll have a worksheet with math, and we'll have a worksheet that goes with Miss Watson's lesson. Okay, so give me a second to get that pulled up and switch over to that. All right. Hey, circle.
I feel like this. Oh, nice drawing.
I really like your drawing, Kimberly.
Why are you so good?
Why are you so good? All right, hang on.
How'd you get the
Okay, guys, hang on just a second. Will somebody in here hit the lights?
I got it.
I'm going to mute so that you guys can hear the video.
Good morning, boys and girls. It is Wednesday, January the 20th, and we kick off this week with a new video from Miss Watson. I'm going to start sending these out to you for the next few weeks just to get you thinking about how we want to promote positive energy, create visions for our life, and just overall find the success in our day. So today we're going to kick off by listening to a story by John Gordon, the first part of the book, The Energy Bus, and it teaches us about how we stay positive and overcome challenges in our life. So listen quickly, and then I will share with you the activity that will be in your teacher's mailboxes that you guys will work on.
The Energy Bus for Kids by John Gordon, illustrated by Corey Scott. A story about staying positive and overcoming challenges. It was a Monday, and Mondays were never good for George. He had watched too much television last night. He got hooked on a video game. He went to bed too late and had another fight with his sister, Georgette. His mom was upset because he was late for the bus and still hadn't eaten his breakfast. It was the most important meal of the day, she said. George knew she was right, but he was too tired and had to hurry to catch the bus. As George ran to the bus stop with his heavy backpack, he could see bus 11 pulling away. George was so upset he wanted to cry. But he didn't. He just put his head down and wondered what else could go wrong today. Luckily, as the bus driver drove away, she saw George stop the bus and yelled out the window, "I wouldn't leave you. Come on, get on the bus." This bus driver wasn't his usual bus driver. George had never seen her before. She said her name was Joy, and she had the biggest smile he had ever seen. He told her his name was George, and he sat in the first seat. "What's got you down, and what's with the frown?" Joy asked. "Everything is going wrong," George said. That's okay, George. You are on my bus now. I call it the energy bus. Sit down, and I'm going to teach you some rules that will take you on a positive ride through life. Are you ready to learn the first rule? Joy asked. If you're ready, say yes 3 times. George and all the other kids on the bus shouted, yes, yes, yes. Joy told the kids on the bus the first rule. Rule number 1, create a positive vision. When you are on the bus going to school, think about having a great day. When you are on the bus going home, picture yourself having a great night. And when you think about your future, imagine yourself accomplishing your goals and dreams, said Joy. If you can see it, you can create it. If you have a vision, then you also have the power to make it happen. As George waited for class,
So George was told by Miss Joy that if you can see it, you can create it. If you have a vision, then you can make it happen. So as the driver of your own bus, you are the one who must choose your vision of where you want to go in the seat of the best view of your life. So it's up to you guys. You get to choose. That's the best part of setting goals and having a vision. A vision gives you something positive to look forward to and something to work towards. Your vision also may change over time. You may think right now that you want to be a doctor, and later you might want to be a teacher, and that is okay. Just create new goals along the way. So for today, you guys are going to discuss the difference between long-term and short-term goals. Many people create short-term goals in January. I wonder why. So enjoy the rest of the discussions you'll have this week with your teachers, and inside their mailboxes will be an activity for you to do about creating a positive vision. Have a great week, and thank you for participating in our dress-up days.
Miss Babby, you're muted.
Okay, sorry. Thanks, Josie. Okay, so you guys don't have this yet. I've got to scan it in. I'll do that in a little bit. So you guys will have this a little bit later, but you can work on this when you get a chance later today.
On it now.
So we've got to do our math first. Math first, because that's for a grade. This is just extra. Okay.
Extra.
But so she did talk in the video about short-term goals and long-term goals. What do you think the difference is between a short-term goal and a long-term goal? Sean, what do you think?
Like something you want to do for a little bit, like when we had Mr. Marshall, she said like a job is something for a short term and a career is like for a long term.
Okay. Yeah, so Sean said something that you want to do for a little bit versus something for a long time. And he's talked about how Mr. Marshall told us about a job is just something you do for a short amount of time, but a career is something that you work for your whole life. Yeah, a little bit. Josie, what do you think when you hear short-term and long-term goal?
The way I picture it is that the long term is like something that you've set your mind to and you are definitely doing, that you've worked your whole life for. And then a short term is just like something that you're going to do for a little bit, like what she said with January. I'd say it'd be New Year's resolutions, because not everyone does those and not everyone sees them through. And then the next year they practically always change. So those are kind of just short term.
Exactly. So yeah, short term is more like a goal that you want to happen sometime in the near future. And you're exactly right. Why she said January is New Year's resolutions, where people set like, this year I want to do this. How many of you are like families are like, I'm on a diet now. We're going to exercise more. Everybody's always like, after they ate all the junk at Christmas, is like, I'm going to eat good. I'm going to eat good and I'm going to exercise more. This is Miss Bab's goal. And I totally brought some little like rabbit bird healthy food for lunch. And I'm totally going to go get the grilled cheese and tomato soup at lunch. So I've already fallen off the wagon, like I'm not doing my New Year's resolution, but that's okay, whatever. But so I'm not a really great example. That's not a good example at all. But you might have a goal to read all the books on the Mark Twain list this year. And that would be a short-term goal because there's a new Mark Twain list every year. That's not like a lifelong goal. But I know I can use like Lily as an example. Lily wants to be a scientist someday. I've known that about her since third grade. That hasn't changed. That's a long-term goal for Lily to have a career with science. And I totally think she's going to rock it. And so that's a long-term goal. And short-term goal, yeah, I want to read all the books on this year's Mark Twain list or something like that. But that might be Cam's goal to read all of those books, but Sean probably could care less about reading all of the Mark Twain books. I'm just guessing. Yeah, he doesn't care. But I know that's so like Cam's such a big reader. Like that's something she usually does is read all the Mark Twain books. So today, when you get this activity, and I'm going to make everybody do math first, but when you get this, you're going to be setting short-term goals and a long-term goal for yourself. But does this mean this is what it has to be just because you write it down here today? No, like Miss Watson said, your goals are going to change. You might want to be, when I was a kid, my entire childhood, I just knew I was going to be a veterinarian.
No, not a veterinarian.
I'm clearly not a veterinarian. Not doing it, not at all. I do love pets still, and I have 3 cats and 2 goldfish, and I still want a dog. But I'm not a veterinarian. I'm a teacher, and I love what I do, and I wouldn't change it for the world. So your goals will change, and your mind will change, and that's okay. But then on the next sheet, after you set your goals, then you're going to be putting like what are you going to do at home, and what are you going to do at school to get you to that goal. So thinking about your long-term goal, what are some things you can do at home, and what are some things you can do at school to help you achieve that long-term goal, okay? And then there's another page that says, this year I will learn, and then it wants you to share your vision with a friend. Why would it want you to share your vision and your goal with a friend? Maggie, why do you think you should share it?
Maybe they can kind of like help you and like make you
relate.
Keep going, you're on the right track.
Like cheer you up and maybe like be positive about it and like kind of like be there by your side and kind of like help you.
Okay, so kind of like be by your side, be your cheerleader. Have you ever heard the phrase help hold somebody accountable for something?
Yeah, oh yeah, I hear that all the time.
So if you're holding somebody accountable, Sam, what does that mean?
Like at practice, we always talk about this because some people, a lot of times there's like 2 or 3 people, not always the same people, but like we're like messing around and stuff. And our coach always says, hold people accountable because, or you're just hurting them. And when they strike out of the game, you can't be mad at them because you didn't hold them accountable and you didn't help them get better.
Okay, so Sam's example, I don't know if you guys could hear him, was that at practice sometimes there's always a couple of kids that are like goofing off, not doing their job at practice. And then when it's game time, they might do a bad job because they didn't get their practice in. But Sam can't get mad at them because Sam could have, holding them accountable would be when they're goofing off, Sam needs to be like, hey guys, come on, let's focus, let's get busy, let's practice. And that's helping hold them accountable. They need to be accountable or responsible. Accountable is kind of like another word for responsible. They need to be responsible for the things they're supposed to do. So like, I know you guys have all worked in teams before and are like on a project, and there's somebody that's goofing off, not doing their job, playing games instead of doing the research. There's always that person, and you guys are like, Miss Bab, Miss Bab,
Miss Bab, there's always that.
Miss Bab, Parker's not doing his job.
Miss Bab.
I'm kidding. I'm using Parker as an example. He usually is on task for the most part, at least until he finishes his work. And then he kind of spirals downhill. But he at least hangs in there until his work is done. And that's okay. But I'm kidding. I'm teasing. But we've all had a partner before that wasn't pulling their weight. And if you hold them accountable, you're saying, come on, let's do it. You're not tattling on them. You're trying to help motivate them directly and hold them accountable. So if you share your goals, so if you share your goal and your vision with somebody, if I tell you guys, I really want to do a better job eating healthy, then when you guys see me in the lunchroom today, you can be like, Miss Bev, do not get the grilled cheese. And they can all remind me that I really want to eat healthier.
I'll cheer you on.
And send me back down here to eat my boring lunch that's in the fridge instead of the much more fattening grilled cheese sandwich.
I'm telling the lunch ladies not to
Now,
do it.
yeah, so they're helping her. They can help hold me accountable, help remind me of my goals, and keep me on track. Okay. So, in a second. So, does that make sense for everybody? Okay. So that's that assignment. I'll be handing this out when you're done with your math. I'll go get it scanned in for you guys. Josie, yes, ma'am.
Who's my friend? Like, will we have partners? Like, virtual partners?
Yeah, I can give you a virtual partner. That's a good idea for you guys, so that you can share your goal with somebody. You can pick, if you want.
Cam?
I knew it.
Yeah, I saw that coming.
I did.
Yeah. All right. So while they're picking that, if you guys want to pick a partner, accountability partner, you guys can talk to each other and do that. I'm going to pass out their math papers. Okay, the side that's facing up is the side I want you to be.
Have a quick table. You want to be my partner? Can I work with them? Well, I'm not working. We're not doing it. Oh, we have to do the quiz.
All right, you've got to do your math first. Do your math first. Remember, this is for a grade.
6. So the side.
The side that I'm giving you is the side that you do.
Can we have a
Can you what?
That's it.
Parker's being
You
mean.
have, all right, say that again.
You have a group of 3.
You can have a group of 3. Boys can be together.
There's pencils being dumb. It's being one of those weird pencils.
Okay. So you guys are good to go. You can work on your math, and then in a little bit I'll have the goals scanned in for you guys to work on too.
Cameron, I'll set up a meet and